sports it was, Bates. Let's start actually, before we get to the big news, let's start. Hockey season started this week. Saline Hornets defeated Dearborn United 6-2, and they did so with some of their best players still not on the team because they're playing football.
Right. I mean, you got John Romp and Grant Ellis both sitting out there playing for Joe Falk, and Drew Denson is, played a two-man short really, and it's pretty impressive that they did that. It was a pretty nice big first win, I think, for the season.
Yeah, I was at the game, and boy, the line of Owen Halbert, Ethan Pites, and Adam Haas. Did I say that right? Haas? Adam Haas. They were big all night long. Owen had 2 goals, I think, and 4 assists. Ethan Pites had 2 goals and 3 assists, I think. And Haas scored, had a couple of helpers too. And I think one of the other important developments for the hockey team is their goalie was Scott Thomas, new kid to Saline, and he played lights out, and I think he gives that team a little bit of confidence. So we got some highlights here we're going to show you.
So the other thing that happened this week is, for the 3rd time in the last 6 years, is the women's swim and dive team are state champions.
Yeah.
They snuck out a really close victory over Farmington Hills Mercy, the defending champion. They beat them by 5.5 points. It's really kind of ironic. I was talking to someone else, and it's they were down a half point going into the last event, and the score goes 40-34 and onward, and they beat Mercy in the last event, so they picked up 40 points to Mercy's 34, ended up winning by 5.5 points. I don't know a whole lot about swimming, not as much as I'd like to know maybe, but they only had 2 first place finishers for the entire 12 event situation, but it's all about depth and all about getting people in there, and the dive team probably was a big piece of that, with Amy Stevens and Cam McPherson finishing 1-2.
Yeah, Amy Stevens went back to Indiana this week to meet with her coach, trained all week in Indiana. She wasn't satisfied with how she performed at the SEC Red. She wasn't too happy with finishing 3rd at regional. She's a defending state champ. She worked all week. She came out and she set the new D1 record at the state meet with, I think it was 488 points. McPherson, regional champ, SEC champ, had a great year too, finishes 2nd. I think Eberly was 7th or 8th or 9th, and Emmy Ruella was 15th. So they got about 50 points out of their dive team. And, that's a lot of points because you get 40 points for a relay. So that's like winning a relay. And when you can get that out of an individual event, that's big news. And I think the other thing, Saline was kind of, I won't say locked in. And this is how I maybe made a mistake on Saturday when I said, Saline's going to finish 2nd. There's no way they could really go up to 3rd or go down to 2nd, or go up to 1st or fall down to 3rd. But they did, because Mercy got DQ'd on a relay, and Saline, Coach Brunny put it best. He said, Mercy opened a window, we charged through it. And for the seniors on this team, they weren't around the last time Saline won a state championship. So it was their last chance to get a taste of victory, and they got it. So here's a little bit of video from the swim and dive championship.
The Saline football team survived a roller coaster of a game and defeated heavily favored Cass Tech 30-15 Saturday in the state semifinal. Here's our report. Timely scoring and a dominant defensive performance lifted Saline to a 30-15 victory over Cass Tech in the semifinal at Troy Athens High School Saturday. Saline qualified for next Saturday's championship game against Clarkston at 1 p.m. at Ford Field. After a scoreless first quarter, Cass Tech opened the scoring in the second quarter. A Saline team that couldn't move the ball in its first 3 series responded immediately.
Even though we didn't do a lot offensively today, I thought we responded twice at critical times. You know, the first touchdown we hadn't done anything up to that point.
Saline's defense then stopped Cass Tech on 4th down and kicked a field goal to take a 10-7 lead into halftime. The second half began with Tyrone Miller's 82-yard kickoff return.
I just knew we needed to play. We needed our energy back up. Since we had so much energy through the first half, I just knew that we needed more energy through the second half to finish it.
All right, what can you describe the run a little bit?
I saw 4 or 5 Cass Tech players to my outside, and I was like, oh, wait, I might not make it. So I just cut it back, and I saw just me and the kicker. I was like, he's not going to tackle me now.
Saline led 17-7. After it looked like Cass Tech had scored a touchdown on a keeper, an official brought the play back on a holding call. On the next play, on 4th and 7, Steven Slattery made the play of his life.
I just saw the player going out, and I just came up and caught it and took it back.
Yeah, just took it back.
I was making sure I wasn't going to get caught.
How fast did you run?
Fastest I ever in my life.
Saline led 23-7, but Cass Tech responded with a touchdown. Cass Tech then kicked off to the Hornets, who were expecting an onside kick. The technicians kicked it deep, and the Hornets got in trouble when Kevin Gross tried to pick up the ball. He was hit before he could, and the ball went into the end zone, where Cass Tech recovered it. Suddenly, the scoreboard said 23-21, and Cass Tech was lining up for a 2-point play.
Situation where our guys felt that there was a kind of a muff situation, and we knew that we did not turn the ball over there. So it was just a matter of where the ball was going to be spotted. And I think the nice thing is the officials got together and made the right call. Frankly, we're worried about getting the right unit on the field, so I didn't wait for a long explanation once I knew it was on ball.
Saline went right back down the field on a great run after a catch by Cam Cole. And then Kevin Gross, who nearly got his team in trouble just a few minutes before, had 2 hard runs to finish off the game and send Saline to the state championship.
I was pretty determined. I was not very happy with myself, so I was trying to run as hard as I could and angry. So
When you crossed the goal line, what were you thinking?
I was very happy. I can't even put it into words. I was just so happy for my team.
Chris Tarrick explained Saline's success stopping Mike Weber, who decommitted from Michigan following the game.
We watched the Chippewa Valley game, he ran for 400 yards, and we were looking at the film and we were like, we can stop him, because, our defense is technically sound. What we did, we had to stay at depth and use our speed, because you're not going to just bowl over, 330-pound offensive linemen, right? They're all Big Ten commits, they got a couple Big Ten commits, but our game plan was to stay at depth and use our speed and make sure we stayed disciplined, and we did.
Personally, I feel like we played great. Offense was struggling early on. We couldn't, and we knew as defense we had to come out and just shut them right down, and that's what we did. So,
how satisfying is it right now to know you stopped maybe the best runner in the state, one of the best in the country?
Oh, this is so words can't even explain it, because it's just an unbelievable accomplishment, and I'm excited.
How long have you been on the sidelines of senior football?
I started on sidelines of football in 1982. Jack Crabtree was the coach, and I just married a local girl and loved high school sports and offered to do stats and got that opportunity.
Well, What's the excitement level around the program right now?
Well, the culture and the excitement in the program right now is amazing. It's all about, everybody tries to go with the we believe concept, but this group of kids in this program, they do. I mean, they really are. They bought into what Coach Palmer has to say. They bought into what he's able to bring them as a coach and as a person, and the whole system has moved to a whole new level, and it obviously come out to show this year.
How is it John Robb? What they say, 5'9", 170 pounds or something? How is he going up against these 6'4", 280-pound defensive linemen? And how is the Saline line doing this?
Well, when it comes to the defensive line, I took a little heat from them earlier in the year because I referred to them as undersized, which was not a negative thing.
Yeah.
It was simply saying they were undersized, and they have great technique, and they're able to do the things with their speed that they don't have that 300-pound kid. So for me, that's what it's all about. It's the technique. It's being able. You don't have to go through a 300-pound offensive tackle. You have to get past him one way or the other. If you're 160, then that means you're going to go by him with speed and technique. You're going to do a swim move on him. You're going to do whatever you need to do to get by him. You're not going to push him down. And there's nothing wrong with that. So, our defensive ends, that's what they do. Steven Slatter is not very big either. So we have sub 190 guys going against 250-pound, 280-pound guys, but they're quicker. They're smarter, and they've learned, they've been taught how to play defensive end with quickness.
You've been around a lot of football coaches. How many?
Well, head coach is really only three.
The three.
Crabtree, Glennie, and now Paul.
What is it? I mean, to me, it seems like, and the theme I'm starting to pick up on is that he's running like a college education, the intro to football 101, advanced maybe 201 or 301. These kids are studying football from the Saturday morning or Sunday after the game. They're studying schemes and they're repping over and over again. I've never seen a team that's so prepared. That they're so prepared that they can overcome these physical, deficiencies maybe compared to some of these big D1 schools that can recruit from all over the place. What is it that alters the program? What's the silver bullet for these guys?
Well, the thing is that every kid wants to be competitive and every kid wants to win. And Coach Palka has been able to bring them the concept that you can win under whatever the circumstances that you can win. And by making them believe they can win, that makes them willing to work hard. It's really kind of funny because I use my grandson a little bit right now because he's new to me and I love it. And I met him for dinner last night, and he had on a bib that said "Eat, Sleep, Football." And I tweeted it out to the kids because I thought that's what it's about right now. They believe in their program. They're going to run their program. They're going to believe in Palka. Josh said it earlier today. Josh, when I spoke to Josh Jackson, he commented that we just have to believe in what Palka is telling us and believe in what Palka wants us to do. The idea of the big program or the college type program, that's just a matter of. That's the system that he has in place. No one going two ways is huge. My preview in their post was they're going to tire out. We're going to be able to take advantage of that because they have 4 or 5 kids that are playing every down, and that's hard to do. And at Saline, we don't have to do that anymore. So we have athletes that could play on both sides of the ball, but we don't make them do it, and that makes a big difference.
Well, I have second guess, and I think if you're a coach, you're going to get second guess. Whether people do so publicly or not. But I've, kind of privately, I've second-guessed the decisions on quarterbacks. I've, second-guessed a few things this year, but I guess I'm learning. He's the coach. He's won all these games for a reason, and he's doing a great job. Ford Field, ever been there for a state championship game?
No, I've actually never even gone to watch it.
Really, it's and here's what I hope. I was there in, I think it was 2007 when Westfield went. 3,200 people in the town. They sold 3,500 tickets from Ford Field from their athletic office. There are so many people, not just from Blissfield, but from all the surrounding communities who came to see, because it was something that doesn't happen very often. And their coach, after the game, they lost a tough game to Saginaw Nouvelle, 20-14, went down to the wire. And after the game, everybody was still happy just to have been part of it. And he said, "Boy, I hope the police chief stayed back because there were some police officers because there was nobody left in town. A robber could have stole everything from that whole town." Do you think Saline's going to get excited about this game?
Well, I was a little bit concerned as the season goes on, and you see the crowds, and we've had some pretty bad weather a couple times this year. But I'll tell you what, I think the last game, the game against Cass Tech, was a pretty good sized crowd.
Yeah.
We got a lot of people out there, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that I hadn't seen all year, even though I obviously didn't see them all because I'm on the field. But there were a lot of people out there. I'm hoping that maybe the fan bus situation, if we're going to do that again, maybe we can take 2 of them. Maybe we can get the kids excited enough that we're going to fill up a couple. Now, granted, a lot of them drive themselves, so they don't need that. But if we could do something like that, the town itself, I think the people started coming out. I've seen that in the past. We've gone to the state championship in baseball a few times, and we always seem to get pretty good crowds for that baseball game on that Saturday. So obviously, people will come out when you get to that point. And so I'm hoping now we're at that point with football. It's a little bigger event, a little bigger things going on. It's at Ford Field, and I'm hoping that the town will do that. The other thing I hope for, and I know you do because you've talked about it a little bit, is let's get the town geared up all week, starting now. Just like you tweeted out that picture of Wendy's this morning with what they have going on. I put in good luck. And just little things like that throughout the entire town is going to make a difference. The kids see that and they just get that much more fired up.
Yeah. When they notice people are paying attention to their success, just like any kid, it does a world of good. And speaking of local businesses, I want to thank Kerrigan Cafe for letting us use their cafe today. I think we're coming back here next Sunday to do this. And before we, is there anything else you want to add before we segue to your interviews with the football team?
No, I think that's it. We're going to have good conversation with some good kids.
All right, cool. Thanks for watching.
Okay, I'm here today with Grant Ellis, linebacker for the Saline Hornets, and Chris Terrick, linebacker for the Saline Hornets. 2 senior linebackers that have led the team all year on the defensive side of the ball. So we're going to talk a little bit about yesterday's game. You're facing the number 2 recruit in the state of Michigan, and Mike Weber. Ran for 404 yards last week, 5 touchdowns. What was the mindset going into the game?
Getting past the football, just hit him often, and kind of just contain the big plays and not let him get into his thing of just running around and making plays like he does.
Well, when we saw the film on Chippewa Valley, we saw Chippewa Valley, they had a lot of holes in their defense. And when you have holes in your defense and going against that O-line and going against Mike Weber, it's not going to turn out well for you. So that's what happens when you go against Mike Weber and an offensive line that averages about 300 pounds a person. So they had some holes and they got exposed. So we learned from them, we learned from their holes, and we've always been a pretty disciplined defense as far as gap discipline. And that was really a strategy. Another thing that we had to make sure to do was we had to stay in depth and stay away from the blockers. Because if you engage the blockers, odds are you're not going to win. So we made sure we had to stay in depth and use our speed and our smarts. And we ended up actually, really when it comes down to it, what you have to do is you have to tackle. And I don't think, he might have broken a couple tackles. I didn't see one person get run over yesterday. I didn't see, but we did a great job of continuing to hit him relentlessly.
One of the things that I saw, and it's a couple kids that aren't here, but you can maybe talk about a little bit, is the outside edge with John Roth and Alec Richards. The big thing that I think we did to Weber that he wasn't used to, he was tackled yesterday 7 times for a loss. And this probably hasn't happened in a long time. The big part of that was those 2 outside linebackers. What were they doing that is so different than what everybody else does?
Well, I know on some calls, Alec was just getting there. He's always an aggressive kid. He likes to hit a lot, and so he would fill hard and fill the outside alley pretty hard. And there's multiple plays I saw him getting in the backfield, and then Rob, how they block in their zone, they leave that outside DN kind of free to go, and Rob just had the speed to just go down and take it from behind, and so that was really key. And then they started adjusting to that a little bit later, and they were bringing that wing back from the 28 to kind of try to seal off Rob, but Alec would pick it up on the other side, and we would clean it up from the middle, and they would have our backs on the outside.
And also also Steven Slatter. I know you guys know. Besides his pick six, he did an excellent job setting it. John Roth, funny, I love John Roth because he's a defensive end and he's 5'9" and 160 pounds. And he's a football player, that's what he is. If that kid was 60 pounds heavier and 5 inches taller, he would be going anywhere he wanted to go. That kid he's a football player. He's been great for us all year. When Brian Picknell had an issue, he's no longer with us on the team, he kind of stepped in for Brian, and Brian had a little bit different role on the team. John plays outstanding. His base is incredibly aggressive. So is Alex. So I mean that really showed.
We spoke about the big offensive linemen, and that would be obviously some of the problems. And the two of you, as well as the other linebackers, need to stay away from them. Colin Payne, Brandon Baldus, and Sean O'Keefe took most of those hits for you, so then you could come off the blocks because they're the ones that they took a pretty good beating, I think, just trying to block those kids. I mean, they have a 6'2", 340, 6'5", 290, another 6'2", 326 or something. They were really big, and your defensive linemen kind of. What do you, I mean, did I see that right?
Yeah, and that's no different than it has been all year. They do an excellent job of keeping blockers off of us. They have done all year. That's probably a big reason of why me and Grant had to use the attack. I mean, because really, when it's just us versus the running backs, we're going to win. Because, I mean, 2 versus 1, it was really me and Grant versus Mike Weber that whole game. Because they did a fantastic job of keeping the line off of us. And when you do that, if you have linebackers that can tap, then you're going to win. And you're going to shut down the run.
I mean, if you look on paper, almost every team's going to outsize our D line, but I think technique-wise is where we make up for it. Technique and our speed and just our relentless play. And I mean, Rob's a small kid, but he plays his butt off, and O'Keefe's a young kid, but is playing like he's a veteran. And Baldus and Payne just kind of anchor in the middle now, and so the combination of us and them and our scheme is just been really good. It's working for us.
One of the big things that you really have to have on the defense is somebody that just gears it up all the time, 100%. And I don't want to say rah-rah, that's not really fair, but it's like, we're going to do this, and I'm going to take that role. And it looks like you're probably the one that's taking that role. Yesterday, I mean, every time they could have stopped him for a 5-yard gain, and you were excited.
Well, I mean, that's how our entire defense is kind of played. It's not just me, but I usually, I'm one of the people that gets it going. But that's how I've always played. You'll see, I mean, this is not a new thing. I mean, you'll see, if you come back to 2 days, the first day of pads, I mean, you'll see me and Josh going at it. We talk a lot, and that's always how we go. We talk a lot. We try to get in the other team's head, and that's just a part of how we play. And when we're playing like that, when our defense is fired up, and when I'm running around, and he's running around, we're yelling and screaming. I mean, he almost gets kicked out of every single game for celebrating too hard and talking, and I do too. But that's how we have to play. And when we play mean like that, we're tough. We're tough to. I wouldn't want to run the ball against us when we're playing mean and we're all fired up and the crowd's into it. And I know you guys always see us, we're always doing this, firing up the crowd, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
And I think it's just an intimidation factor too when you see guys getting crazy after every play and you see 9 guys to a football and everyone's driving the pile back. I mean, you see that on a film, you're going to say, I don't want to run against this guy, let's just pass the ball or something. But when you have guys that are doing like that, it helps out, it brings camaraderie, you guys want to play for each other, it just helps the team out a lot.
Now, in the second half, kind of based on a hit that Payne put on Weber at the end of the last play of the half, and Slade there for the ball. Second half, I mean, they were behind, so they went to the passing game, and then, I don't know if Weber was maybe a little sore and wanted to not run as much or whatever, it doesn't matter, but in the second half, they did that a little bit more, so we haven't talked about the defensive backs yet. You got Kreiner, you got Miller, you got Travis Brown back there, sorry, Travis. You got Brown back there, I mean, they did a pretty good job back there, too. I mean, they get their share of tackles, they come up and make plays.
Yeah, I mean, our secondary is outstanding. They're great in the run and the pass. I mean, I think that our secondary is incredible. They really are. Travis Brown might be the best filling safety that I've seen in my entire life. I mean, he makes tackles like, he makes, I mean, I don't know how many tackles he has in the year, but he's right up there with probably me and him and Steven, because he's incredibly aggressive, and then Tyrone's just an absolute lockdown corner.
and so is Cal, and they've done such a good job. We really don't even have to worry about the pass, honestly. We're against like Cass Tech, we're so concerned about the run that and that's the beauty of it. Me and him can focus on the run so much more. We don't have to worry about when they're in play action getting back as fast. And we can get sucked up on the run, and that's okay. And that really helped us stop the run. Knowing that we have that behind us all the time, and this week will help as well. It's going to be important this week because play action is an integral part of Carson's game. So that's going to be important once again that we have that behind us and knowing that we can fully commit to that.
A lot of people didn't believe. A lot of people thought, you know, it was all hype, and you know, a lot of teams do it. You know, you always look forward to getting into the state playoffs and going a long ways, and you know, whether you really believe your team can do it, or you just want to believe your team can do it, or whatever. You know, everybody has their different ideas of what's going on. But you know, I talked to you guys at the beginning of the year. I talked to Coach Paco for 3 years. Obviously, this has been the goal for a long time, and you did it. You're going to Ford Field. How's that feel?
It's pretty sweet. You know, when we were little kids and you see your football team, and not that our football team back then was bad, but you know, just we'd get to the playoffs and then they would make their little run, and now to see that that's us and we're going to Ford Field and playing in a state championship, and you know, watching Friday Night Lights and see, you know, like that's us. And at the start of the playoffs, there was something that said that, you know, Saline was a pretender, and we kind of just put that chip on our shoulder and said, you know, we're going to prove everyone wrong. People will make fun of us if we have a break that's like state champs because no one believes that we can do it. You know, we're in the SEC. There's no good teams in that. But I think we're just proving a lot of people wrong, and we still got one game left, and we're going to go do it.
Yeah, there's always going to be a lot of negativity from people when you have success like we've had, but really we've done a good job of putting that behind us. Really, for me at least, and I know probably for a lot of other people, it's really hard for it to even set in right now. Number one, because we're so physically and emotionally beat from yesterday, and secondly, because Coach Paco always says, he said a couple of times in the playoffs, it really sticks with me. He always says, we're not just in the playoffs to see what we can do. We don't just get in the playoffs and say, wow, good season, you know, wow, we're excited to see, oh, maybe we might win a couple games here. No. We're in the playoffs to win it all, and that's been the thing. We really believe that, and I mean, I can't wait for the chance. It hasn't set in yet that we're going to Ford Field, just because we're already focused on the next opponent, and hopefully in a couple weeks we'll be sitting here with the ring and we'll be allowed to let that all soak in, and I can't wait for that.
Okay, last thing, and then I tweeted out this morning that state champs put on their site that the final four for Mr. Football this year, and everybody, you just mentioned that we don't play anybody. We will have faced, after Saturday, we will have faced 3 of the top four for Mr. Football in the state of Michigan in our schedule. I don't believe anybody else has done that. So, you know, I find it hard to believe they can knock our schedule given those circumstances. Now, the fourth one we're going to face, it's Zazula from Clarkson. He's a quarterback that does both. He runs, he throws. Got a pretty good running back behind him. And I know you guys haven't seen any film yet, probably, but you're going to see an awful lot of it. You're going to work this week to deal with it. But one more Mr. Football candidate. What do you look at Mr. Zazula?
I have seen some film on him, and he's a stud. And I'll tell you what, he can run the ball, he can throw the ball. But the thing is I don't know if you've heard, but we have QB sitting right there. His name is Josh Jackson. He can run the ball and throw the ball too. And we go against him every single day in practice. So, I mean, that's going to help us. You can't understate that. And that's the thing. That's what helped us against like when we go against Kevin Gross. You know, and now, I mean, if Josh is down and playing scout quarterback this week, that's what I want, because I need anything to make us better. I mean, I can't wait. I can't wait to play him. Another Mr. Football candidate. Can't wait.
Yeah, same here. I mean, playing 3 out of 4, it's great competition. It prepares you for the playoffs, and just gets you that much better. And Coach Walker's always said, you know, you got to compete, and if you want to be the best, you got to play the best, so you got to beat the best. And so far, we've done that, except for Mona Shores, and they're having a great season. It's good to see them in the finals too. But Zazula's a great kid. Looks like he's a great quarterback, so it'll be a great competition for us, a great chance to really have a great game out there and go get a state championship.
One last thing, real quick. I stand on the sidelines for every game. I've been doing it since 1982. I love it out there, and I love it when the kids interact with me. You are 2 of the most interactive kids that I've ever had, and it's always What's the question?
How many tackles?
Well, Chris Terrick, I'm here to tell you today that yesterday he broke the school record for most tackles in the season with 145. So when you see Coach Price, let him know that you're now the single season record holder for tackles for Slim Hornets. That's good. All right, still here. Now joining us is Josh Jackson, quarterback for Saline Hornets. He's a junior, split time this year with Trent Tyson, but he's playing well right now. He's come along. Last week against Kent, he had a tremendous game, 6-touchdown game. But they faced a little different defense this week than Kent brought to you.
Yeah, this week it was just a phenomenal defense. Their D-line and their linebacker was great, and sometimes didn't have time to make the plays. And they were there, and sometimes just didn't have time. And I'm not saying I had a perfect game because I didn't. They were big, and some passes were exactly where I wanted them to be, but I know that one stat I needed to have was we needed to win the game. That was just the one stat we needed to do, and Coach Bible said it was me the whole game, and I took that to my heart, and then we gotta do what we gotta do to win the game. We won the game on that final drive. We had to convert on third down, all that, and it was just like scoring on that final drive. We won. We going to the state final. It was just a great thing.
So we started the game pretty slow. You know, our first 3 drives were, I think we got 1 first down on all 3 drives. Missed the field goal. We shut them down too, though they hadn't done anything either. Then all of a sudden on their next drive, they go down and score. We're down 7-0. Weber, he didn't have his way, but he ran 41 of the 45 yards in that drive to get that touchdown. Now we're down 7-0. What's your frame of mind?
It was the same demeanor. Every drive we're going to go out and score. That's what we were looking to do. And if things don't happen, it's okay. We're going to go again and we're going to go score. Because we do our defense, we're doing what they didn't do, so we need to start doing what we needed to do. So we went down and scored and tied the ball game up, pretty sure. And we just had to do what we did. Like, we couldn't get worried that we were getting stopped with our great defense. We had to keep going. If you get worried about the last drive, you can do the next drive. So you just had to keep going.
And we did go down and score. Jeb scored on an 8-yard run, and then we tied it up 7-7. And then again, stopped them on that next drive. Bad snap to their punter. We get the ball at the 17 with 2 minutes to go in the half. We're at 7-7, and we didn't really do anything, but we called on William Breenan to come in and kick a 34-yard field goal against the wind. Did you guys watch those kicks going that way?
I shut my eyes. I'll tell you, I'm a tight end on PAT block, and I did my steps, and I saw the kick go, and I was like, oh, and I walked off the field, and I just didn't know. I just listened to the crowd. A lot of times that's when the offense is going. Me and Grant get in trouble a lot for, actually especially me, he does a better job of focusing during our meetings, but we get in trouble a lot for watching Josh in the offense. But most of the time you can tell how they're doing just by the crowd. So that's how I heard the field goals went in early. The second one went in.
Yeah, I did watch it. You can see it went up and it just hung there for a while. And I was like, is it going to keep going or no? And it just dropped and we're good and we were up going into that.
Right. I mean, it was like a bird going against a 30-mile-an-hour wind. I mean, it was just almost stopped. I'm standing right there. I'm going. So yeah, that was interesting. And then they got the ball back, obviously, and nothing, to finish out that half. So it's 10-7. We get the opening kickoff in the third quarter, which is really good. They kind of surprised me. They gave us the win in the third quarter. I really thought they would take the win in the third quarter. They gave it to us. So when they kicked off, it ended up short. It ended up in the hands of Tyrone Miller about the 20-yard line.
That's what he does. Like, he just went in there. I remember him saying, like, the middle was open, so he went in there, and then he bounced out and just hit the kicker. And we all know a kicker is not catching Tyrone. When I saw him go, we just know he's not going to get caught. We're just like, okay, 17-7, let's go. Like, let's get going.
The mantra that I've come to learn from listening to Coach Parker this year is famine, famine, feast. And that's kind of the way he wants the confidence of the offensive team to be famine, famine, feast. So how do you work with that?
That's just trusting Coach Parker, and he runs his offense. It's a phenomenal offense. It's the best offense I've ever had, and it's just like you just gotta trust him because you know it's gonna work. And like that's why we never really worry on offense because we know we can score 1 point, 2 points. It doesn't matter because time, like if we're down by 14, we can come back. We're up by 14, but we know our defense. So I mean, it's just knowing and trusting in Coach Bobby. He'll put us in the right situation to score, and everything we do to convert, and everything we just trust him. And that's why there's no work. It's just got to be cool under the pressure when all that is going. When you go 3 and out and all that, you just got to know the next drive will be
So the bottom line is, a couple drives you don't go anywhere. You know you're going to go somewhere the next game. You don't give up on what you're doing.
And then the funny thing about our offense is this year, that motto has kind of been irrelevant so far up until that game because there hasn't been a whole lot of famine. There's not been a whole lot of famine up until Cass Tech. But finally, Famine Feast came into play. They trust Coach Palmer. We trust Coach Palmer.
I asked the defensive guys, so now it's your turn. We're going to Ford Field on Saturday.
It's like an amazing opportunity. Mo's going to Denver, like every day before the game, and now